Yo, what's up, dogs? I am back once again, and this time we have another movie review, and we are talking about The Monkey, directed by Osgood Perkins. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to try my best not to spoil this movie, but I'm sure little spoilers will happen, so be warned if you haven't watched this movie yet. I might accidentally spoil something, but I'm going to try my best not to. I'm going to try my best not to. So, let me just start off with saying that this movie was okay. I did not mind it. I enjoyed certain things about this movie, and there's certain things about this movie I didn't enjoy. But in general, I thought it was an okay horror comedy movie, and that's what I was expecting going into this movie. I was expecting a lot of fun, interesting kills and gore, and it delivers in that for sure. And the comedy, not the best, not big hearty ha-has, but they are in there, and I smirked and I smiled, and some of the kills actually elicited a laugh out of me where you're just like, that's absurd. And that's kind of what you're getting in this movie. It's just the absurdity of it all. So don't really expect on the seat thrills and like tension building and jump scares and that type of horror, like slasher horror and who did it and all that stuff. Don't expect any of that. Expect good old fashioned funny kills, humorous characters, and just lots of absurdity because that's what this movie really is an absurd story. And I like most of it. And I have to also be honest with you that I kind of got bored while I was watching this movie, and I did have a little case of the dozy eyes, but I fought through it. There's a certain point in this movie where my brain was just like, I don't care anymore, and I'll talk about it, but I was engaged for a really good chunk of this film. I was like, yes, this is great. I'm really enjoying what I'm watching right now. And the theme of this movie, too, is kind of interesting, where it's like, enjoy life, live life, because the death happens. And there's some really good dialogue sequences between the mother, Lois, and her two twin kids, Hal and Bill, where they encounter death for the first time and stuff like that. And they deal with it and they talk about like this is life and death, you know what I'm saying? And there's a really good sequence of them at the graveyard where they talk about this. But that being said, I would also like to mention that this movie has a lot of really good special effects when it comes to the kills. They're very inventive, they're really well done, and yes, there's sometimes uh some kills where you're just like, how did they do that? You know, and there are some too where you're like, oh, that's neat. The CGI, you can tell it's CGI and stuff like that. But there's some really good special effects in this movie, and there's um I don't want to spoil it, but I have two favorite kills in this film where I was like, that was really well done. And one of them, I literally was like, ugh. And the other one made me laugh, where I was just like, that's funny. And again, in this movie, there is some weirdly, interestingly absurd choices made in this. And you're just kind of like, that's weird. But still. I wanted to point that out. Now let's just talk about the story real quickly here. The story revolves around these two twin boys, and they come across the monkey. Now, this is where totally engaged with this movie because I really liked the story of the twin boys, right? Young Hal and young Bill, played by Christian Convery. And I just was into it because, like, the older brother is Bill, and he's older by 3 minutes, and he bullies the crap out of Hal. And Hal is picked on at school. Bill is kind of in charge of like this little clique, and there's this clique of girls that are just bullying Hal, and like they just hate each other, but it's like a good classic sibling rivalry, and it's all tied together with the love of their mom, right, Lois, who was played by Tatiana Maslany. And I actually was when I was watching it, I was like, is that She-Hulk? Because I couldn't quite picture the face and the way she was acting in this movie compared to She-Hulk. And there were some times where I'm like, is that She-Hulk? And I was like, yeah, no, that is She-Hulk. That is Tatiana. So she's in this and she plays Mom Dolores, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. Um, and I really liked that nucleus of that family because there is a deadbeat dad in it who is a pilot, and we're introduced to him right at the beginning, and the monkey, and we're introduced to what we think are the rules of the monkey, by the father, the deadbeat dad. And the monkey's rules are at that point in time that if the hand drops, the drumstick drops, something bad's going to happen, a curse, possibly death. And so, when we are introduced to the monkey again in life, we the boys find it in the closet of knickknacks because their father was a pilot who was never in their lives, but he always would come back from his trips and have knickknacks. And there was a big collection of stuff in his closet, and one of those knickknacks happens to be a hat box. Because I think I call it a hat box because it's a circular box with the monkey inside. And so when we see the monkey, we're like, oh no. The monkey's here, you know what I'm saying? And that little monkey is so creepy. They do a really damn good job on the creepiness of the monkey, and it has a little song, and you hear it, and you hear the little drum beats, and you're just like, oh no, they do some really good creepy tension building with that monkey. The monkey is, I don't like it. And it always shows up at the craziest times, and uh-oh, things are going to happen. But in this movie, young Hal and young Bill have the monkey, and they on the cover of the hat box it says like "live life," right? So that's like promoting the message of like live your life. And on the back it says "turn the key and see what happens." And so they turn the key, and now they are activated the curse, and it follows them for the rest of their life. And things and trials and tribulations and situations happen that instigate certain deaths in this movie because of the monkey and them turning the key. And there is one point in this movie where Hal is frustrated with Bill. He's had enough of Bill's antics and his bullying, and he wants Bill to die. And he cranks the key, but something tragic happens. And I'm not going to tell you that what happens because that's a spoiler. But something tragic happens, which alters the course of their family dynamic for the rest of their lives. And yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. That monkey stuff is so crazy. I liked it. That whole chunk of the movie up until the point where they should fast forward 20 years because it takes place in like 1999. Then they fast forward 20 years where they're older, and now we have Theo James playing the twins, Hal and Bill. And this honestly, this is where I'm disconnected. This is where I'm starting to battle the naps because I just don't care. I don't care. I really liked following along those kids and them figuring out what to do with the monkey and how to get rid of it and dispose of it and the curse of it and all that stuff. And they built like there's some drama that was built up between these two kids too, and I was engaged. That was the movie for me. I was like, yes, I like all of this film right here. But then once they get older, it just falls apart. I just don't care. I'm disengaged. There's I don't know. The dialogue's not that good to me. I'm just like I don't care because like we have this loser. Hal's a loser. You know what I'm saying? He's not cool. He's a loser. You don't really know much about Bill. He's a mysterious voice on the phone. You don't see Bill until the end, and even Bill's a loser, right? He's not cool. And and Hal is trying to reconnect with his son Petey, who's played by Colin O'Brien. And Petey only sees his dad once a year because his dad is trying to protect him from the curse of the monkey because they don't really know what happened to the monkey once they disposed of it. They don't know where it is or if it's back or anything like that. But things happen with with Hal when Petey on his birthday, like they're on a way to go to like some haunted like Canada's Wonderland, like theme park place, right? And something happens where Hal is like, "Oh no, I think the monkey's back." And we do have a scene with another character named Thrasher, who's played by Rohan Campbell, who found the monkey at the estate sale because something happens to the aunt, and yeah, they are like, uh-oh, I think the monkey's back because Thrasher has the monkey, and Thrasher was hired by Bill to find the monkey and bring it to him so he can have the monkey, which is like such a weird plot point. Like I'm just like I don't understand why this is happening, right? Like I don't know. I was like this is dumb to me. It was dumb. And like for some strange reason when Thrasher had his hands on the monkey, he had like weird flashbacks of his own dad, And I thought for a second there that because his dad is a deadbeat police officer that was not in his life anymore, and for a second there I was kind of wondering if his dad was the same dad of Hal and Bill because he's also a deadbeat, but he's an air pilot. But I was wondering if he was living like two different lives, like he was never in the one life and the other life. So I wonder if he was just like a gigolo, so to speak, who just traveled around and had families and wives and women in different places and stuff like that. But that was just me connecting dots that probably aren't even there. Um, so yeah, there's more trials and tribulations between the brothers and Thrasher and Petey. And again, like I don't care for the father son dynamic between Petey and Hal. I'm just like I don't care about teen angst. I don't care, man. It's not a story plot for me that I care about. And I'm sitting there like Petey's asking him questions about like the family tree and stuff. And I'm like, why are you lying, Hal? Who cares? Tell him that you have a twin brother. Tell him about your mother, Lois. Tell him about the curse. He's a young adult. Tell him. Tell him why you're not in his life, right? Because you're trying to protect him from this monkey, and this curse. And it's like well, there's a lot of dialogue that could have been different. Where if you just told him the truth, that we probably have a different movie and maybe a better second and third act, in my opinion. Because it just becomes too boring for me. Um, but yeah, trials and tribulations happen. The ending is bonkers because there's a lot more kills. There's a lot of kills in this movie. Like you're gonna have a good time with the kills. I'll be honest with you. Like that's the driving force through this movie, especially during the low points of the film where you're just like, this is boring dialogue. I don't care. But everything kind of just trucks along because it's like kill dialogue, kill dialogue, kill it. It kind of has an action beat, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But you get trucking along with those kills and they kind of keep you engaged. Especially some of them are really inventive, and I like them. Again, I won't tell you my favorite kills, but I, yeah, I wish I could because I don't want to spoil them because I want you to have the same shock. Like, oh, that was awesome. Um, again, we get to the end. Things happen. I don't want to spoil it, but the thing that I wanted to mention about the actual end, and I thought it was kind of interesting that they showed this because they get to the crossroads in the town that they're in, and to me, it's just like old school, like you're at the devil's at the crossroads, and then they have death on the pale white horse trocking by, right? Just galloping by, just a slow pace. And you see him, and I'm like, man, that's cool. Like, to me, that's cool. Having that kind of folklore, that little bit of mythology in there at the end of like, he saw death, right? Like, I liked it so much. That made me, that like re-engaged me. I was like, oh, this is cool. Where's this going? You know what I'm saying? But then, boom, hit the credits. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's it for me. That's all I got for the review. I hope I didn't spoil anything, but I really did enjoy that ending with the pale white horse. I was like, that's smart. I enjoyed that a lot. So should you go and see this movie? Now, if you're a horror fan, I know you're going to go and see this movie, but I would tell you, go see it on a cheap night as possible. But I also would probably recommend this movie as a date night film. So go and see it on a cheap night, date night. You know what I'm saying? Because the laughs in here, the horrors in here. I think it would be a good time to go and see this movie with your partner or significant other. You know what I'm saying? I think you'll have a good time with that. But otherwise, wait till it comes out on home, stream it in the dark, have your own treats and candies and stuff like that at home. That's where I'm at with it. And would I put this in my collection? It depends if I feel like having an Osgood Perkins collection. You know what I'm saying? He's got two films right now with long legs in this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I'll pick it up. I'm gonna see how he is on the third movie because like Long Legs was okay, this is okay, so we'll see how the third movie goes. And that's it for me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this movie review. Leave a like, hit the comments below. Tell me what you think about this movie. Hit the subscribe button because we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. That is my goal for the end of 2025. So if you'd like to contribute to that, thank you. That means a lot to me. Hit the notification bell. And I'm always reviewing movies and movie trailers. So I'm out of here, everybody. Don't work too hard. It's Sunday. We're all chilling. It's the Sabbath. Peace out, everybody. Bye.